good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here. For those joining in person, thank you, and also those joining in online. My name is Zaire Kalu. I'm the Student Association President. I would like to first start by introducing the candidates that are running on the slate for next year. So first, Jamal.
Thank you, Zaire. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Jamal Mark, currently Queens College in my third year, junior year, and of course, majoring in computer science. But I like to say I am, of course, running for Queens College Student Association president, and yeah.
Thank you, Jamal. Melton?
Hello, everyone. My name is Melton Thorpe. Currently, I am a student senator, and I'm running again for student senator. The reason why I would like to run for student senator is to make sure my peers' voices are heard and making sure, funding is going where it needs to go and knowing everything about the campus. I am a junior. I'm also, my major is economics currently, and yeah, that's about it.
Thank you, Melton. Jin?
Hi, everybody. My name is Jin Choi. I'm running for student senator. And I'm running because I want to advocate for students. Your voices are valid and they need to be heard, and I want to fight for you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Luis Cabero. I am running under Academic Senate in the Students' Faculty Disciplinary Committee. I'm a freshman. I kind of already get the gist of everything, and I even have my own club, the pre-pharmacy club, so I'm kind of in there. And yeah, that's about it.
Hi everyone, my name is Shristi Bhatia. I'm running for QC Senator. So I basically want to make sure that we're inclusive of all cultures and people of all different backgrounds. Being a QC SASA president for 2 years, I made sure that everyone gets included no matter what background you're from. So as Senate member, I hope to do the same. Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Hema Muni. I'm also running for QC Senator, and as Vice President of QC SASA with Shristi, I also tried to make sure everyone's included, and I want my voice to be heard to make sure that this is an open space for everyone and everyone can feel included and safe.
Hello, everybody. My name is Michaela Noble. I'm the current president of the Black Student Union and the Campus Affairs Committee chair. I'm running for a student and academic senate because I would like to have this diverse campus and the voices of each student be heard.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rihanna. I'm running for the Student and Academic Senate. I'm already a part of SA. I'm the Lobbying and Advising Chair. I'm also a member of CDS, Committee for Disabled Students, so I'm here representing you guys too. And I'm also a first-year experience mentor, so if you need to see us there at Honors Hall. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Bernita Pierre. I'm the current vice chair for PR. I'm running for student senator for academic senate, and yeah.
Thank you so much to all the candidates that introduced yourselves today that are here present. It's not easy to run for a position and to put yourself out there. So a round of applause for you all for being here. And now I will pass on the torch to Johnny Sullivan, who will be moderating the vice presidential debate.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 2022 Queens College Student Association Vice Presidential Debate. My name is Johnny Sullivan. I am the editor-in-chief of the Night News. It is my pleasure to introduce our two candidates today, Ravina Ramatar and Brandon Castro. So without further ado, I will slot my microphone in and begin the questioning. With Ravina, I'd like you to briefly describe your past experience in extracurricular activities, especially those pertaining to leadership and student government.
Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Ravina Ramatar. I currently major in psychology as well as human development, and I minor in business and liberal arts honors. This is my third year as a junior at Queens College, and I'm also part of the SEEK department as well. I have a lot of experience with dealing with a lot of groups of students. I work with currently the first year experience group, where I help incoming freshmen with supporting them with the college process. If they come with any questions or if they have any concerns, I'm the person that they go to as their mentor. I'm also a SEEK generation leader for the class of 2023. I've hosted several town halls to advocate for funding for the SEEK department when the budget cuts were in its blar, as to say. Let's see. And currently right now, as you all know, I'm running for student serving students as vice president for the student association. And I also, apart with that, with mentoring, I also do a lot of things outside of campus. So I'm also a teacher's aide at my old elementary school, where I work with fourth graders, and I basically mentor them as well, help them out with homework 3 times a week. So that's also something that I usually do. So I have a wide experience working with a lot of different groups and backgrounds of students. Thank you.
Brandon?
Yes, everyone can hear me? All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Brandon Castro. I am a senior currently majoring in history and political science. I'm running, of course, as Student Association Vice President. It's very much like a pleasure to be here so far. So what I've done previously, the past 4 years, I started majoring in history. I've always been interested in teaching. My previous jobs have been working in high schools, middle schools, elementary schools, whether it be summer programs, after school programs, or even for like a whole entire curriculum. And so I have experience working with students. I have experience with crowd control for sure. And for sure, seeing students grow is definitely one of my favorite things. And aside from working in high schools, the past few years alone, like I've been trying to get myself more involved in Queens College. So this last year has been an entire ride, because I've really been trying to volunteer my time to making sure that it's worthwhile. And by doing that, I've been volunteering to work with events and student association. And yeah, for real, like it's been like a lot of fun. To start off, when my goal prior to COVID, or at least during COVID happening, my goal has been to make sure that as soon as I get back on campus, I want to get to meet everyone. I want to talk to as many students as I can. I want to make sure that I'm a part of events. I want to make sure that I can help as much as I can. And then as soon as I got to campus, I think that came true. Like I've really been a part of making sure that events are working. There's an Excel board game night that just happened a couple of weeks back. There's been a couple of events throughout the semester that I've been a part of planning, and I've been a part of helping for. For me, it's just amazing when someone can recognize you from like a mile away and then just say hi and then ask for help. So I want to keep on volunteering my time as much as I can. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay, thank you. I'll pose my next question first to Brandon. Which of the powers of the vice presidency do you intend to invoke to benefit the student body?
Right, so the vice president comes with a lot of responsibilities. Part of that is I've had experience talking with Kayla, who's a current vice president now. And with that, I've learned so much from her. Part of that is being in charge of the budget meetings, which means that you can help students either fill in their budget or to really inform them on how to get their events across the campus for sure. So being a part of that and allowing my voice to go through with the students is partly what I intend to do as the vice president, but one of the main powers I feel is the influence that comes with that. So that comes with speaking with clubs, speaking with students, and I've done way so much of that during this, what was that? Oh, sorry.
No, nothing.
Yeah, so I've just been really trying to help out clubs. Like I've spoken to countless of them. I've actually lost count throughout the past couple of months alone, either for endorsement or for any help budgeting needs that they may have. I've been a part of making sure that clubs are able to process themselves here, either getting used to being on like the campus live, where exactly they can access the campus stuff. And yeah, so for me, it's really the influence. And for me, it's really speaking with clubs and just the responsibilities that come with that.
Thank you. Ravina?
So for me, I know that as well as taking on the greater responsibility of being vice president, if I potentially get this position, it also comes with being able to also hear the students' voice and advocate for them and hear what they have to say, because students' voices matter. And at the end of the day, if I become vice president, I will be that bridge to be in between students, over the 20,000 students on campus versus myself. So there's 3 key things that I really do want to address. So the first one would be communication between admin and students. A lot of the times there's a lot of miscommunication with admin. A lot of the times student voices aren't really heard at its greatest. So for example, like with the financial aid, the bursar, advising, giving access to them as a whole without them, a lot of the times I hear a lot of students complaining that these departments don't really answer their DMs on Instagram, or they don't really have a lot of like emails coming back and forth and great communication. So I would want to take on that responsibility as well to advocate for them and have their voice heard as well. The second thing would be providing more resources to low-income students that need help paying for college. A lot of the times, such as some of my friends, they don't really qualify for financial aid or for any type of scholarships or any type of opportunity. So that kind of puts them at a disadvantage where they may have to drop out of college and not really pursue their careers or anything like that. So those who don't qualify for that financial aid, I would want to give them more ways to pay for college, as well as try to help them offer scholarships as well. And my last one would be to continue to build just a strong community within QC, and as well as putting the safety of students first. Currently, we're working on renovating the club rooms to have them open by the fall for newly painted rooms with furniture. And I also would intend to, work with public safety as well for them to be kind with the community and keep the students in mind as well.
Thank you. So briefly, I'll ask you, Ravina, can you briefly touch on one recent QC development for which you are excited and a QC issue which you feel has gone overlooked?
So I think really with an issue that I see so far is really just communication between admin as well as the campus, because a lot of the times, like I said before, student voices aren't being heard and they're not really being advocated for. And a lot of the times students are scared to speak up for what they want. They're scared to speak up for what they believe in. And that's something that I would intend to do as vice president. And can you repeat the second question?
The second question is, briefly describe a recent QC development for which you are excited.
So with the pandemic occurring and being that, everyone was locked up for about almost 2 years doing online classes, and just being at home with complete isolation, not really, looking forward to school or anything like that. I'm really excited to just see a lot of the students being back on campus, thriving, getting back into the groove of things, going back to classes, being part of extracurricular activities. Like, that just brings a lot of joy to me, seeing students being able to come back on campus as a community, being able to join together, see their friends, socialize, talk, probably even grab a quick bite to eat at the cafe. Like, simple things like that really resonate with me, because it shows you that a lot of the times, when we feel like we're in isolation, coming back to campus just kind of brings everything together. And I know with the pandemic, it's been a really tough 2 years, so I'm excited to see, people coming back on campus and getting to learn.
Thank you. Brandon?
Right, so one development that I'm really looking forward to is that club rooms are actually going to come back. and that students are going to be more accessible to the campus. Because the past few years alone, like clubs have either gone defunct or they haven't been able to really access their prime, which was prior to COVID. So one of the big things that I've been advocating for, and a lot of people that talk to me know this very well, is that I've always wanted the clubrooms to be back as soon as possible. Of course, I understand the complications that come with that, which is why I'm very excited that they're going to be back for the upcoming semester. Because as I was saying prior, like clubrooms, like clubs are like really struggling, especially the last couple of months, just to try to get access to students, because they want to know like where exactly can I get students involved. How can I get them to join my club? How can I promote my events? So one way to do that, or one way that we used to do that, is by telling them, hey, come by the basement of the SU. You can see how we vibe, you can see how the other clubs vibe, and then you just decide for yourself. So I'm very excited that clubrooms are back, because right now, at least with my club, I'm like involved with several clubs. At least with my club, it is the Filipino club. I'm also part of ALAS, which is the Hispanic club. Is that we kind of monopolize the space in the student union diner, meaning that we always have someone there very early. It's by the right side booth, and we just tell people, hey, we don't have a club room now, but you can come by here. We're almost always here. And I try to talk to any new members that might be interested, tell them about any events coming forward. And one issue that I think is overlooked is reaching out to students. Like I think that we haven't been doing that very well. A lot of the students alone don't even know what student association is. They don't know that they could go to the 3rd floor of the SU. They're always welcome there. They can come by, sit, chat, make connections there, friends, be a part of building something. What I mean, building yourself, building the campus life, or something grander. So I think a lot of people, we need to reach out to them for sure, because they don't know half of what this campus offers. They don't know how much money that their club has. They don't know that they can be involved even more, giving either more meaning to their day, to their lives. They can change their lives just by talking to a couple of people each day. And yeah, I want them to be more involved, and I want the clubs to have their clubrooms back so that they can thrive again. So
thank you. Are there changes you'd like to see made to student association?
Yes, for sure. Well, one thing is outreach. So one is PR as much as we can, because whenever I speak to students, they're like, oh, I don't know what to do. You know, when I go to campus, I just go to class and I go straight home. But now that I've gained the ability to speak with them and kind of get past that bridge, now I just realize that there's so many talented people out there who don't use the gifts that society or that life has provided them, and they don't really try to fulfill on that. So I think outreach is definitely one of the biggest things, because we don't know what hidden gems might be hiding here. So I think it's important to try to get them, just to chat with us. Like that room is open to everyone. That's how I was able to get here, because that changed my life just by someone reaching out to me, and then just by telling them, hey, I'm interested in doing this, and that. And that has changed my whole semester, my outlook on campus, everything. I'm excited to be back on campus now, because I don't know who I'm going to talk to. I don't know who I'm going to meet. I don't know exactly what I'm going to learn. And it's always like a fun ride here, especially now that I know that I made friends for life. So students need to be aware of what they could do, what each of the committees do, exactly how they're handled, how much money that they have, what clubs can offer. And just by doing that, then I really feel like we can get the best potential of students here, because we're trying to build future leaders. When I'm out of here after next year, I'll be confident in some of the people that I've spoken to, because they're very competent people. And I know that as long as we outreach more and more and more, our college will be safe for years to come. So
thank you. Ravina?
Can you repeat the question?
The question is, are there changes you'd like to see made to student association?
There are quite a few changes that I would want to see made to student association. Along with outreach, I would also say students just being open to come to the SA and just being able to, not feel like they're in an environment where it's kind of like academic-wise. Even though student association does have a lot of clubs with academic affairs and things like that, it's also like a kind of like a segue to where they can just kind of be themselves and kind of just show that they don't feel like they're kind of trapped in just like this whole academic thing. They have an outlet to go to, they have people to speak to, they have people that have experiences and that can offer a lot of things. So I think just getting students more comfortable with that environment itself, because I know a lot of the times it can be intimidating for students to just come out and just be not themselves. So I would just want students to feel comfortable.
Thank you. Very quickly, Dwayne, how are we on time? It ends at 1:30? What is 3 hours? 1:30, right? Okay, just making sure. So then, next I'd like to turn the questioning towards current events in QC. And Ravina, I'd like to ask you about the lifting of the mask mandate. So our paper has recently received contributions from writers on both sides of the issue, and understandably, it's still quite a contentious point of conversation. So I wanted to ask you, where do you stand on it?
So the lift with the mask mandate, I can say either way. I think it's the person's choice whether or not they want to wear the mask or not. I don't feel like it should be required, but at the same time, I think if they don't feel comfortable wearing that mask, then they're not obligated to, they shouldn't feel forced to, but at the same time, you know, we have to also keep in mind the safety of other students, and sometimes a lot of students don't feel comfortable speaking to someone else without a mask on. So I think it's really just how you go about the situation and handling that choice, because I know everyone was forced to wear a mask at the beginning of the pandemic, and no one really liked wearing that mask because, you know, it can be hard to breathe in it and things like that. So now I think students are getting more excited so that, you know, they don't have to wear a mask or anything like that, but I think it should be their preference whether or not they want to wear a mask or not. It shouldn't be forced upon them.
Brandon?
Yeah, I agree completely. I was elated when I found out that the mask mandates were being dropped. Me, personally speaking, like I never liked wearing masks because my face gets rather oily. That's just on like a personal note. So especially when it gets really hot also during like the last summer, like I had my friends wearing masks. I would ask them why they're wearing it in the car when we're in the same space and it was clean in there. They're very much like sitting here, so they're very well aware of that. But yeah, my face gets oily and then I get sweaty and then I realize I start to break out and I get hives on my skin. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm glad I don't have to wear a mask, especially when I'm working out. I try to, you know, go to the gym a couple of times every single morning. So when I found out that they were allowing masks back in January and you were forced to wear them at the gym, I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. It is a piece of cloth. You could put it down if you have to breathe. But me personally, you know, I get confidence issues when I start to break out. So it's like, why should I be forced to wear this mask? Oftentimes when I'm in the bus or when I'm talking to people or if I'm at an event, I would rather not wear one because I don't feel comfortable in it, literally. So, and you could be well aware, like I always carry wipes on me, so when I take off the mask, I wipe my face a bit, just so I know that I'm at least safe for like a couple of hours. Safe as in, I'm not gonna experience any breakouts, but yeah, I think it should always be up to the students, it should always be up to the individual, I said that word wrong, whether they wanted to wear the mask or not. I think it should always be that way. You cannot force people to do that. You're always gonna get health problems associated with anything that you try to enforce upon people. So I think it's important that students have that choice, and I should not be told or forced to wear one. If someone feels uncomfortable and they really want to speak with me, I'll gladly wear it. I don't mind. I don't mind accommodating to some other students' needs or to some other faculty or staff's needs or anyone. But personally speaking, of course, I'm happy that it's up to the person's choice. So, yeah. So
another pretty contentious issue lately. Brendan, what are your thoughts on the current state of CUNY's infrastructure?
QC's infrastructure?
CUNY's
infrastructure. Oh, yeah. Well, that's a difficult question to really put my mind around. There's definitely a lot of problems that students have with CUNY's infrastructure. One thing is trying to make sure, like trying to communicate with them, trying to ensure exactly what is going on. Like students do not know how to access their resources. They don't know what the infrastructure provides. They don't know exactly what CUNY provides. That's not only a QC problem, it's everywhere. It's everywhere throughout CUNY, SUNY, anything. So I think that it should be accommodated for all students, and there should always be someone there to answer. There should always be someone there to answer the questions that any student may have. Because I know a lot of students are going to feel nervous at first because they don't want to ask like the necessary questions. So they should accommodate to people. They should definitely try to promote as much as they can, and they just try to make it simpler. Like I've been saying this about QC, they should update their site. So it's not much of an infrastructure thing, but you know, it like affects a lot of students. Same thing with CUNY. Like I think that it should be easy for all students to access. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
Ravina?
So regarding CUNY's infrastructure, I do see a lot of the times in the news that, for example, like at Hunter College, I recently saw that, you know, a lot of their classrooms are degrading, they're decaying, the paint, the mold, everything. So I think students are not really feeling comfortable in that environment. I also read that as well. So I think that's a really huge issue that a lot of people need to take into consideration, because there's only so much students can do. Like us as individuals, there's only so much that we can do. There's so much only we can do to advocate, but it's also up to admin to really take students' voices into consideration and really think about how students are being affected, because not everyone's going to want to sit in a classroom that's falling apart. They're not going to be able to really focus in class or concentrate. Even in like, for example, in Hunter's building, I saw that the ceilings are kind of like caving in as well, and that's also a concern to the students at Hunter as well, who are trying to study and trying to get their degree and trying to just focus on classes. So I think it's a really huge concern that there's a lot of things that need to be really discussed with. However, I think admin really should take into consideration all these things and all these factors that really affect students like you and I.
Thank you. So the last thing I wanted to talk about today, so as the president of a student organization here on campus, I always feel pressed for time. I have so many ideas and so little time, I'm sorry, to actually implement these ideas. So I'd like to ask, do you have any long-term plans you'd like to set in motion during your time in office that might extend beyond your actual tenure?
Can you kind of rephrase that question, please?
Yeah, sure. So, like, I'll give you an example. I am looking to return the night news to print. That's obvious. That's something that might not happen while I'm still here, but it's something that I know will be secure for the night news going forward, even if I'm already graduated. So basically, what I'm asking is, are there things you'd like to begin to do, and they might not be completed while you're in office, but at least they'll continue to develop?
Yeah, so for me, I think one of the things that I really want to see on campus is a lot of mentoring. Working with FYE over the course of about 2 semesters, almost a year, I've realized that students need a lot of guidance. Students need, especially freshmen in particular, they're first coming onto campus, they're not knowing where they're going, they're not knowing what they're doing. I was in that space during that time as a freshman where I was kind of lost. I didn't really know exactly how to navigate college and things like that. So, being that I will be graduating spring of 2023 next year, potentially, I would really want to see a lot of mentoring and a lot of more guidance and access to students, because, a lot of students don't know that there's plenty of resources out there for them to, potentially utilize and really create more of a better experience from their college career. So I really just want to see a lot of, advocacy for students, a lot of mentoring being offered to every individual, even if it's not even a freshman. Sometimes sophomores, juniors, even seniors need that support, that push, that guidance for them to really just, blossom into the individual that they want to become. So definitely a lot of mentoring and definitely a lot of advocacy for students as well as the community of QC.
Thank you. Brendan?
Yeah, so I agree with you that students do not know the resources that they have on campus, for sure. One of the things that I've always been keen on starting is like similar to mentoring, but having people watch over student associations. So if they're interested in being like the treasurer, they can see how like a treasurer does their job, secretary, any of the other committee chairs. So yeah, I think that for sure that should definitely be instituted. But one thing that I'm very excited for is that I've always wanted to make an impact on campus, no matter what it is, no matter it be an annual event, something that people will remember me, the president, or at least my term by. So I've always wanted to make sure that we are reaching out to more clubs a lot more often for events that we can work toward every year. So I've been doing that the past couple weeks. I've been doing that with a dear friend of mine, William Barron, of course. So, and I realized just how much fun that actually is, that we can speak to these clubs, because usually they're in their own cliques and then they have their own events and they only get like a handful of people going, unless they're like a really big club. But I realize that now that if we start putting in a process where we have meetings with these other clubs, they can put in their ideas, anything fresh and new, then they can be more involved, and then they'll be more than happy to share their club, their students, their resources, everything. And that helps out everyone. Not only do the students that get to go to these events have fun, but the clubs get access to more people, they get more branding, they get to PR more. And yeah, that's something that I've been very, very keen on. So yeah.
Thank you, Brandon. So I've actually exhausted all the questions in my bank here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open up the floor to student questions.
Oh, cool.
So if anyone has a question in the audience here, I saw Jamal first. And
Okay,
then
I'm coming.
So for both of you, let's see both. My question is actually, what does diversity, inclusion, equity mean to the both of you? Also, what does the QC's motto, which is we learn that we may serve, mean to you? And how would you incorporate those models or principles into your line of work? Well, into being vice president, but yeah.
Sure. I guess I'll go since I answered the last question last and we're doing it like that. Yeah, so for me, diversity, inclusivity, and equity, that's been something that's been going, has been very rampant the past couple years. You know, New York State, a bunch of other states have been really trying to focus in on making the campus a more equitable and diverse place. For me, that means that students have access to every resource possible. So it's equal opportunity for everyone there, not equality of outcome, but equality of opportunity means that no matter what you look like, no matter who you are, no matter where you were born, no matter what gender you are, you have access to the same resources here just as anyone else. I'm not going to be judged based on me being a man or based on me being more white or black. As long as you're competent enough or as long as you possess the traits, you can get the role, you can do anything you want. Because lately there's been a lot of people, you know, judging based on the color of your skin, and we are all against that. And I feel like that's something that we should continue pushing more. And for inclusivity and equity, of course, it's trying to make sure that it's equal opportunity for everyone here. Meaning, as I was saying prior, no matter who you are, you get access to the resources, the scholarships, anything possible. And diversity, like I've always been a big fan of intellectual diversity. It means everyone here has a different idea, everyone here has different goals, aims, ideologies, political ideas. So for me, that means that I've always wanted more conversations on campus too. So one of the big things that I forgot to mention during one of the last questions is that for the last year and a half, I've always been trying to make sure that there's a way that we have events where people can talk about serious issues. It could be the war on Ukraine now, it could be riots going on, it could be literally anything that relates to that modern time. And because I really feel like it's a really polarized time now. So if you want to state a conservative opinion, a liberal opinion, anything, someone's going to hate on you for it. And I think that if students are able to express their opinions in an environment where they know they will not be blasted online or spread lies about, and they can learn. So everyone will leave learning something. You will leave learning something new because you should always treat someone as if they know something more that you don't. So everyone here knows something that I don't. I'm ignorant on a lot of things. So I think one way that we can achieve those goals is by making events or by making some sort of a gathering where people can talk about these things in a respectful environment where you will not be judged for it, you will not be hazed online, and that you can leave learning something, because that's the whole purpose of college. Education is harmful. So harmful meaning that there's like a lot of things that you learn that will scare you, that will change you, that might scar you for life, and that might completely change the trajectory of your life. And we can get through that together by talking about it. So, yeah.
Ravina?
So for me, with the motto, we learn so that we may serve, I can see it in multiple ways. So we learn together as a community, we learn, but also as an individual, because in order for us to learn in general, it always starts within ourselves. It always starts within each other, ourselves, but also with the community. But we also have to serve, because, academics are very important. I strongly agree with that. But at the same time, if you don't have the experiences, whether you're participating in different clubs such as SA or even like with me, FYE, I also forgot to mention that I was a mentor for the Big Buddy program, which I basically mentored a homeless child as well. Like things like that, your experiences shape you to become who you are, but it doesn't really define you for who you are, because the experiences you help, it kind of builds you and shapes you and molds you into the person that you're becoming. As well as with the equity and inclusion and things like that, I believe that everyone has a say in what they believe in. Everyone has their own opinion. Everyone has their own preferences. However, you should not be judged and you should not be defined for who you are, whether you're you represent a different religion, whether you represent as a different identity, whether you're a different race, whether you're part of a different ethnicity. Everyone comes together as one melting pot, and everyone should be able to receive that respect and receive that respect and that honor for who they are as a person. So that's how I would kind of implement that into my line of work, including everyone as a whole and not really subdividing people into like different groups. Everyone should come together as one.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Jin.
Hi, this is a question for both of you. How do each of you feel about the current relationship between SA and students? And what would you do in your vice presidency to change that in any way, whether it be adding or removing something? How would you change it?
So I can go first. So for me, like I said before, with communication and things like that, I see a lot of the times, students on campus don't really know what SA is. They don't even know, like, the place to go to, where it's located, anything like that. So being able to give them that access, give them that knowledge, for them to be comfortable enough to step into that office, make new friends, meet new people, be a part of different activities, join different clubs, perceive and pursue their interests is something that, I would want students to do, be able to thrive in their college career, being able to succeed, whether it's academic-wise or even in different clubs that they want to pursue. So I think potentially if I receive this position as vice president, I would want to encourage them to be able to, be themselves, open up, continue to, thrive in their whatever academic major that they're a part of, as well as push them to the best that they can for them to succeed.
That is a really good question, actually, because that's something that I care about a lot. To start off, the last few weeks alone, I've been a part of maybe 5 or 10 events. Like, I've been attending as much as I can because I want to start early. So people know that I'm running for vice president, and they know because I've been showing up. So as long as I get the role, they will know that at least we're here to listen to them. We're here to accommodate for their needs, because I think we're falling behind majorly. And that's not on part of QC or CUNY necessarily. It's partly because of COVID. So we've been bound to online behind our home screens in a depressing environment where you just say hi to people on like a Zoom class, which is not the most ideal thing ever. So we've been falling behind in terms of actually getting students involved. So I've been doing that a lot the past couple of months by talking with people. Like last Friday alone, I was at an Israel Shabbat event, and then I went out with friends, and then the week prior, I've been trying to show up to events because I've been like a little bit late, but Sasa has been holding events as well, which I've been trying to show up to. And I just keep hearing about all these students having fun, and I think that we should all come together in one way or another. So I want students to feel like they're going to be heard, and the way to do that is by interacting with them. So I've been trying to do that as much as I can. I think a lot of it is great when I'm walking around campus. I get 5 people saying hi to me, at least like before I enter my office room, or like the office room that we're all a part of. And they get to ask me questions, and I get to give them somewhat of a good response. Sometimes they think that I work here because I'm always wearing a suit. I just happen to love wearing that. So, but yeah, so they know that I'm here. They know that I will be there for events, and they know that going forward, I've been volunteering a lot of my time. So it's not more about deserving the role of VP. I've earned it. I've way more than earned it. A lot of people know who I am here now, and that is because I've been trying to show up to events. I've been trying to get my name out there as much as I can, which means getting clubs involved in student association affairs and events, being well aware of exactly what they want. Like, for example, in May, during the first week of May, we're planning a spring week or kind of something like that. I cannot go into too much details for that, but we've been trying to get clubs involved and seeing what exactly ideas we have planned, what the next generation has planned. That means those who are freshmen and sophomores now. We had a meeting about that around 2 weeks ago. And you might not hear about it, but I'm very much involved. I don't have the official position necessary for that. I do help the programming chair a lot, but that's how you know. I don't need to have a role to be influential. There you go. You can do anything you want. Like you are so powerful. If you wanted to get up now or sometime later, speak with a bunch of people on campus, you can develop a network that way. And I think as VP, people will know that I'm there to listen to them because I'm going to actually be there. So, yeah.
I have a question regarding the creation of making clubs. So as a freshman, I found it rather difficult to get all the forms together to make the club. Is there anything you guys could do that we could have everything in one place and know exactly what we need to do?
Easily. Yeah, so I was a part of registering the volleyball club. Again, I don't think I see any of the members here. But usually, if you ever need help, it's not the hardest thing, you know, there's a bunch of forms that they'll give you online. Sometimes you might get like an email blast saying, hey, please register your club for the fall or for the spring semester. But it's harder if you're a freshman or if you're someone new here and you want to start a club, but you don't know how to, and then you realize that the deadline has passed. So one easy way to do that is by something that I've been saying since the very start. Let people know that student association exists. So the reason how I was able to help the club get all their papers together, get all their e-board to sign, and now they're doing very well. I think they're playing right now in the gymnasium where you always see them outside. They started off with only 3 people, and then they got a bunch of the older people back, and then now they're thriving within a couple weeks. So you can go upstairs anytime, 3rd floor. I forgot the exact room number, which is not very good, but it's a very obvious because you will see it's a student association office. There's tons of people who will help you out. So if, in case you ever have anxiety or if you're ever scared to get something done, go upstairs, get past that boundary, and probably by the day after you'll get all your forms together. But there's also the resources online. And so that could be a little bit harder to follow because when you're reading something online, maybe you might misinterpret it a certain way. So then you submit the forms either wrongly or you fill in something wrong and then it's too late. But you can ask people. There's tons of people upstairs. I'm there very, very often. I was able to help out a couple clubs with their forms. Volleyball was just the biggest example that popped up in my head. And we're always here to help, so yeah.
Yeah, so for me, I definitely agree with what Brandon said, but also as well, I know it can be, you know, daunting as well as a freshman to, you know, kind of start up, you know, your own club, get people to join, things like that. It can be very stressful. So for me, what I like to do is I would want to be able to sit down one-on-one with that person, whether they have a question about the applications that they need to fill out, whatever they need, I would be there to kind of help support them and guide them. Like I said before, it can be a daunting process to start your own club and things like that. However, it's not too hard. You know, everyone is capable of doing anything that they put their mind to. That's the way that I see it as. So definitely for me, I would just probably kind of sit down or maybe even kind of form like a club where if, you know, there's like a whole bunch of group of people that don't understand how to fill out the process, how to fill out the application, then I could kind of just gather them all together and kind of sit down and walk with them together to help them complete the application.
Sorry, hi, it's me again. So this year marks my 2nd year as president of one of the largest clubs on campus. It's called QC Asia. And what I've learned being president is that on campus and online safety is such a heavy priority. It affects so many students, their mental health, the way they come to campus. It's a very impactful thing. I want to know what your opinions are on campus safety, specifically because we are in person now, and also online safety, and what you guys are planning on doing to improve on that. Because I know there are a lot of flaws with how CUNY in general operates safety. So I want to know what your policies are or what you're planning on implementing to improve that and make sure students are safe.
Okay, so for me, campus safety as well as making sure the students feel safe and in a comfortable environment is key for me as well. Like you said, there are a lot of flaws with the system and everything like that. But being able to create that environment as well as, you know, kind of work with public safety to kind of, you know, help them create more of a kinder open space so that students don't feel as uncomfortable to approach someone, because it can be scary to approach like a safety officer. A lot of the times people don't want to approach anyone in that retrospect because, you know, whether it's the title that they hold, whether it's the uniform that they wear, it's daunting and it's scary to them as a whole. But for me, I would be able to work with public safety to be able to be kind with the community instead of just kind of putting that barrier against everyone, if that makes sense. Another thing that I would want to do to continue to build a strong community with QC and putting the safety of students first is probably trying to implement more emergency buttons around campus. You know, this campus, it's 80 acres, it's full, it's big, you know, it's a beautiful campus. However, not everyone can be in the same place at the same time. So definitely probably trying to implement more emergency buttons around campus and also more public safety booths so students feel that if they feel that they're in danger, they can, you know, automatically go to a public safety booth and speak to an officer or speak to someone that they feel comfortable with. So that's something that I would try to do as well.
Brandon?
Yeah, so that's also a very good question too, because online you're going to meet a bunch of brand new people. You don't know what their intentions are. You might not even know what they look like. So I think one of the most important things that QC or student association should do is we already have spark training for clubs, right? So maybe don't make them go through like another mandatory session where we know that those are draining and those take a long time. But maybe find ways to inform them. It could be through flyers, it could be through optional resources that you can watch or read. So what I mean by that is that we could inform them on the spots around the campus where they can talk to people, where they can feel safe, and teach them how to document any wrongdoings that people within their club may have done so that we can spread that out. Maybe not the person involved, but we can spread out the actions, and then we can spread it out to everyone. Okay, if you experience anything like this, let us know. We do have departments for that. So we have Title IX, and we have like a bunch of other departments where people can go to. They can report issues within their club. And another important thing for sure is as an e-board member, you are responsible for your club, whether it's 10 people, 5 people, 30 people, 40 people. So it's your responsibility to let them know that they can feel safe with you and that there's resources on the campus too. Because I know Asia is not, they are very much prone to like advocating for stuff. So one way that you can do that is by sharing people that there are the resources, you can talk to people, you can feel safe here. And for any warning signs that it may experience, like you could even tell people, okay, the quad is a safer area. We are usually by the science building. We're usually by, or if you guys the club room's back, you guys can be there, which would be a more secluded, safer space with a bunch of other clubs. And you can just inform them on where they can go around campus. And talking to public safety is a really important thing too, because they're always around events and making sure that there's nothing going wrong there. So if you have an event and if you have a guard around outside, befriend them, tell them anything that you may encounter or experience. And if they don't know about it, I'm sure that they will do the best job possible. And yeah, we have a bunch of resources. It's your responsibility as a club leader too, to inform all your members. And yeah, so.
Our last question will come from Zaire.
Hi, thank you both so much. You're both doing amazing. My question is in regard to us both being a very open campus and a very diverse campus, as you both have spoken about. So my question is, how do you plan on building more collaboration on campus along with allyship?
Ooh, yeah. Oh, I love that question because we are working with clubs to get them involved in student association events. Because usually, at least like in like the past, I don't know if I'm completely right here, but there hasn't been too much more club interaction. They've been hosting their events, which have all been a lot of fun. And I think that we can get a taste of different cultures that way too. We have Filipino clubs, Hispanic clubs, Asian clubs, dance clubs, Bukharan clubs, and everything. So we can ask for their input. They can help us. They can co-sponsor, or they can bring their flyers. They can bring banners, anything that they want. They can bring their e-board. That they can bring the people that are part of their club, and we can get them actively involved and bring their own taste of culture to the events, which has been working out pretty well. Like one of our last big events, which we held right inside of dining hall, we had a couple of clubs involved. Unfortunately, some of them were very new, where they didn't even have a banner to share. But that's a great thing too, because that means that we were able to speak with them to get involved. Imagine being a couple of weeks old, and then you get some of your e-board and members to come to an event that you otherwise would never have had the opportunity to do so without the people involved actually telling them that you can be a part of this, you can be a part of something big, you can leave an impact, whether even if you don't generate the most amount of members for that, you will be proud of it. So yeah, that's one way that we can get diversity going is by allowing different ideas, actually different ideas, not slogans, not any of this other stuff, not all these quotes, but actually different ideas where people can really push forward what they believe in, and they'll have someone to listen to them. Because one of the most important things which I've said prior is to always think as if someone knows something that you don't, which involves listening, not being narcissistic. So that means that you have to make sure that you actually listen to people. So some people just, all that they need is that they have to be heard, and then they need that little bit of encouragement to grow out of their bubble. And that leads to diversity because they're diverse ideas, cultures, everything. They can learn to incorporate that into the campus and actually be involved with something big. So that's like one of the big things that I want. It's more so like a societal and a cultural thing instead of anything that we can enforce there. Just talk to them, tell them that they can be involved, tell them the perks, the pros, the cons of everything, and then people will naturally grow out of the bubble. I kind of call it kind of like a domino effect, but everything goes back up again. So instead of it falling, other people really get inspired when you tell them that they can do something, or when you give them a little bit of signs of encouragement. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you. Ravina?
Yeah, so for me, with the campus being so diverse and so powerful, with all these ethnicities and different races being represented, I think giving each individual, each person, as well as each group that outlet to freely, represent themselves, whether they want to make their own club, whether they even want to host an event such as probably bringing food from their culture to campus for everyone to try. I think doing small acts like that can really build rapport for them, as well as build a reputation for this campus, because as we know, this campus is huge, it's diverse, it's full of a lot of different cultures, a lot of different ethnicities being represented, and that's a powerful thing for a campus to be able to be able to represent everyone as a whole. So I think, putting on small acts like that, for example, probably hosting a lot of events related to people's cultures, getting them involved in different activities, showing them that, their voices are heard, their voices are capable of expressing so much more than just how they identify themselves. So I think being able to, give them that outlet to just freely express themselves, show them that, they shouldn't feel, in this case, like in a shell to come out of, I feel like they should be able to, always have that outlet to speak, so.
Thank you. So we're going to be wrapping up soon, but each candidate will now be allowed 1 minute to make closing remarks. 1 minute, so just make sure you're mindful of the time. And I'll start off with Ravina. Your minute starts now.
So, potentially, if I receive this position as vice president, I will do everything in my power to make sure that students' voices are being heard, students' voices are, being advocated for. Like I said before, a lot of the times, students' voices aren't being heard, but at the same time, I know what it's like to feel kind of isolated and kind of just, stuck in your shell, not knowing where to go, not knowing how to navigate anything, even besides like with college and things like that, just being able to come out of your shell and just be yourself. That's something that I feel every student should be able to do with time. Everything comes with time, with growth and with healing. So I think with that position and with that time, I could really just bring the best out of those students and make it possible.
Thank you. Perfect. Just a moment. And Brendan, your minute starts now.
Perfect. Yeah. So I think it's important for students to grow out of their shell and to realize that they can grow so much more on campus. I grew today alone. I started off stumbling my words a bit, pausing a little bit, but now I actually feel comfortable. I could do my hand movements and everything. I still started my words here and there, but that shows that if I can do it, heck, anyone here can actually do it. You can just come up here, get comfortable, say whatever is on your mind, and then walk away learning something. So I've improved a lot today alone. And I just want students to know that I will be involved, because I have to get anxious or mildly depressed if I'm not doing something. So I always have to be doing something. I work 2 jobs now. I'm always getting involved volunteering on campus too. So I want to add more meaning to my life, and I feel like other students should be aware of how powerful that they are. Because I know that if I'm not doing something, so that's why I always want to be involved with events. So you know that's what makes me happy, when I see something worthwhile that I've been working so long for. And I'm going to keep on doing that constantly, whether I have a role or not. Whether I lose 25 times, I just need to win 1 time, and then it'll keep going from there. So, yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so now I will hand it off to Zaire for her final statement.
Thank you. First, a round of applause to Johnny from the Night News. Professional moderator right there. First, thank you all. Being Student Association President now and graduating, in the back of your mind is who's going to be carrying the torch after you leave, who's going to keep the legacy. And we have both of these. We have Jamal, who introduced himself, running. And we also have both of these wonderful candidates who both have positive things that they want to instill in the college. So in my mind now, I'm like, the kids are right. Now I'd like to thank you both and wish you both the best of luck in your journey and during elections. So elections are next week. They start Sunday at midnight. Thank you all for your time.